So Aries, let's take a look and see what you have here. It looks like at the beginning of the month, there's something that you're trying to build that may not be happening as quickly as you would like it to. This is the Three of Coins, and it represents a builder, someone who's building something, working on a project. Sometimes it can even mean collaborative works between groups of people or you and others. But because it's in reverse, what it's telling me is that there's some sort of stagnancy or some sort of halt or hesitation to this project going through, or that your work or efforts are not happening or not producing results, at least as quickly as you would like them to. So there's some sort of stuck energy or way in which this is not emerging at the beginning of the month. You may have been working on a project for a while that just can't seem to get a footing, or you may be running into red tape. I'm thinking of like when builders hit permits, or for some reason they're not able to get the permits, or it's taking longer. Just know that, you can keep chipping away at things, but it's just a little difficult time for that. It's just not coming through as quickly as you would like it to. And part of the reason is related to the Seven of Cups card. Seven of Cups represents not seeing things clearly, or maybe having some illusion affecting what's going on. You'll see in each of these cups there's options of something to be chosen, and there's a lot of this cloudy, hazy energy. Sometimes this card can mean that things are not always what they seem, or you're just seeing things on a surface value, and that it will take some time to actually identify which each of these things are in reality. And because this is in reverse, there may be some way in which it corresponds to this project or this effort or this thing that you want to go forward, and it's not being allowed to go forward because you can't seem to make a decision on which it is of these that you want to choose. Or you may have a hard time identifying, what does it mean if I choose this one? What does it mean if I choose this one? What kind of life will I have if I choose this? Or it may be regarding details of the project that you're having some indecision and a hard time breaking through that. And this card has a lot of Neptune energy, which can have to do with either spirituality, or it can have to do with illusion and sometimes even drugs. So what it's telling me is that the situation is clouded. Your decision-making process is clouded. And oftentimes what is a good antidote to too much Neptune energy is to get really grounded and really clear. So I'm going to recommend some grounding exercises for you, or just to take a time out from feeling like you have to make a decision. One thing that's also going to help you is you have star energy here. So a lot of this, the way out of this is going to be through star energy. Star is full of hope. Star accepts themselves exactly where they are. You can see that she's naked in this picture, and she has one foot on the ground and one foot in the water. It's a really balanced card. It's really calm. And a lot about this card is about self-acceptance, just as you are, and worthiness and fulfillment in just exactly who you are and what you need to do. So I'm going to encourage you, Aries, to meditate upon this card, star card. It's actually, Aries is the star within the zodiac. So this is telling me that there may be some blocks to this. This is who you are by your birthright, and this is your way out of this stuck project, stuck decision making. There's also something at the beginning of the month that has to do with potentially joint finances, or collaborating with someone else, or signing a contract. It can also mean difficulty in making a decision, because this card is a juggler card in the Rider-Waite. He's a juggler that's standing on one foot, and so he's kind of deliberating between, should I go this way or should I go that way? Is it up? Is it down? So I'm going to say that you're really experiencing a lot of indecision with these two cards present. And the way to get centered, what's in the center of those two cards, is the star energy. So I will also put a link below of star card, because this is very grounded energy. She's not worried or stressed about anything. She's just very accepting and therefore very solid. And also it kind of flourishes because of her own self-acceptance and love. So she radiates, and people are attracted to her because she's just so completely full, just as she is. In the middle of the month, I see that you have Knight of Wands, you have Fool, you have 10 of Rods, and then you have 5 of Cups. So Knight of Rods is someone who is courageous and bold. He's full of fire energy. In the Rider-Waite, he's riding on a horse that's up on 2 feet. So he is like raring to go. He can be a little bit reckless. So that's a warning in this card, like don't be reckless. But he's got lots of passionate, invigorated energy to pursue something. He's ready to run a race. He's ready to chase after his dreams. He's like it's sort of like priming the pump. Like when you've got an old school car and you're turning it over and you're about to start the ignition, that's the feeling that this card has. Or when all the horses are at the gate ready to run that race, they're just ready to launch out, but it's saying just be careful that you don't overdo it or get too cocky about things. Fool in reverse said, Fool upright means beginning a new journey and having a lot of faith in the universe, and having a lot of like humor about things, a little bit naivete or innocence, and it's what they call beginner's mind in Zen Buddhism. Because this is in reverse, it's telling me that you might be afraid to make a fresh start in something, or that you might feel that the universe you might have doubts as to whether or not the universe will support you. So this fresh young energy is there, but you've got some hesitancy about it. You know, it kind of echoes with this 7 of Cups card with indecision. Like this, normally Fool will launch out even without looking, but he's a little bit hesitant. Like he's kind of like someone peeking out the door, but afraid to actually launch out the door. So this card tells me that you may need to work on your trust in the universe supporting you. Something mid-month is a challenge. This 10 of Rods and this 5 of Cups is really challenging you. You may feel like you're carrying a heavy burden that you've been carrying for a long time. 10 of Rods means it's like completing the cycle, and it's sort of like long enduring suffering or oppression. And what the opportunity of this card is look at what you're carrying that's not necessary and put it down. It also usually speaks to, this is also called the teacher card. So it means that you have all these things collected from your experience. How can you teach them or put them down, share them with others, sort of like share a heavy load? When you teach others about your collected experience, it lightens the load. And there may have been some sort of loss that you either expected or that you endured. Normally 5 of Cups in the upright position means focusing on loss and dismissing what is still there and what is available. It's a card of grief or loss. What this is saying is that because the 2 cups are there at the top in the forefront, you may realize that you're missing something and there's some sort of lack or grief, but really you know that there is other riches available to you, even though right now you're missing something or you're grieving something or that something's not available to you. You realize there's other stuff available to you, but you kind of have to get past your surface feelings of grief for that to get to those inner cups. And that's the middle of the month. And then towards the end of the month, it actually looks pretty beautiful and exciting. You've got this 2 of Cups and home energy. There may be some sort of loving, romantic related to the home. Sometimes these two cards together, Two of Cups means like a love affair or marriage or, you know, union of the hearts. And this Four of Wands is beautiful, joy, celebration, festivity, often related to the home because of this fortress. But this could easily be a marriage or marriage proposal. This is delight in the home and celebrating some sort of wonderful event. You know, this could even be the birth of a child or buying a new home together, or it's definitely optimistic. It's definitely open. It's definitely there's a lot of love and stability here. And it's very different, for example, from this card, which is a card of burden and oppression. At the end of the month, you can look forward to some love and sweetness and maybe even connection with someone in your home, whether it's a spouse or a partner, or if you bring a new love into your house, like, you know, perhaps a new pet. There's definitely that kind of loving energy in the home happening and stability of that. There's also, towards the end of the month, there's two kings who appear to be at odds with one another. King of Swords is the wise, fair king. I call him my King Solomon, who makes good decisions, and is definitely fair and thinks things through and does things it has a lot of good judgment. And then King of Rods, he's in reverse. He's a king that is full of courage and bravery and boldness and does things his own way. And he is, you know, he's a unique character. Some people think he's eccentric, but he's very successful because he's so brash and innovative and fiery. What this is telling me is that there's either two people of those two types of temperaments who are at odds with one another, or it may be that you're feeling very passionate and courageous and bold about something, but that really being practical and having good judgment is what's going to win out here. Because he's in reverse, he is not, his way of doing things is not coming out on top right now. Being discerning, having good judgment, being practical, maybe not launching out on the craziest dream that you've ever had is not necessarily favored, or that these two are people who are not seeing eye to eye. They're looking in opposite directions. So what that's telling me is that you need to either embody or follow the person who's being practical, the person who's being wise, the person who's being fair, and maybe tone down this fiery energy. Pay attention to the mental side of things rather than the fiery, passionate, enigmatic, bold side of things, because right now he's in reverse. So ultimately, at the end of the month, I'm seeing a lot of nice either reunion or stabilizing of some sort of love, and perhaps as it's related to the home, there's some sort of celebration or joy, festivity, love that's happening here. And remember that in the beginning of the month, with all this indecision and a project being stalled or your efforts being stalled, focus on this star card, because that's the way out of it. She's the only one in the first part of the month that is upright. So she's an answer to how to get yourself out of that indecision.